Adam, what can you tell us about Dak's recovery from the shoulder strain?
Well, Laura, he's resumed light throwing this week, which is an encouraging sign. And I think more encouraging is the fact that anybody who watched Hard Knocks last night came away with exactly what we've talked about on this network the last couple of weeks since the injury happened. They are cautious, they are concerned, but they are not alarmed, and they do not think it's a significant injury. Now, I think Tim has tremendous insight into this, being that he once had a similar injury in training camp, and they want to take care of it right now. But the fact that Dak has begun the light throwing right now is a sign that he still continues to be tracking to be able to play September 9th against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Thursday night regular season opener.
Tim, let's get a little more of that insight from you. Any concern about lingering issues when we get into the season, when we get to September 9th against the Buccaneers? You've had this before. How does it affect you?
Well, I just think the issue ends up being that it's hard to find times to rest, basically, from this point forward. So, Dak had the injury. They've rested him. He's resumed throwing. They obviously hope that he doesn't have any setbacks. But the reality is like, you don't get a chance to rest. I mean, you get maybe 10 days over a bye week where you can go without throwing. But other than that, it's all the way through to hopefully February. And so with that being the case, I think this is just something that lingers and is something that you have to manage throughout the season, because my experience with throwers is, in situations like this, it's just become something that you manage and get used to. It's not something that just all of a sudden goes away as you head into the season.
Yeah, I'm not going to put myself in a situation because obviously as a former nose tackle, I've never thrown a football. But here's what I'll say. We're a month away from playing real football, okay? A month away. The Cowboys don't sound concerned. Dak Prescott really doesn't sound concerned, so I'm not going to be concerned. Here's the one thing you got to be aware of a month out from the regular season. Wide receivers are tired of running already, so it's going to be a lot of hamstrings and a lot of growings. Why? Because the hamstring and growing is usually kind of the easiest thing to get a few days off from practice without kind of going to see the MRI doctor to get an MRI. The quarterback throwing, like all these different injuries are part of training camp. I am not going to be alarmed, even though I didn't throw a football as a nose tackle. I'm not going to be alarmed here a month away from training camp, guys. The regular season.
I'm going to go look back and see the training camp injuries that Booger McFarland had at the time and find out how many of them were legitimate, Boog.
Hamstrings, Laura. A lot of hamstring, a lot of tweaked backs.
Yep, tweak my back. There you go. You kind of felt like you saw a different side of Mike McCarthy last night. By the way, Hard Knocks, the Dallas Cowboys, streaming on HBO Max. Boog, you're loving it?
Yes.
Is this a Super Bowl team? Like, what's the timeline here? You got them as legitimate contenders?
If everybody stays healthy and the offensive line comes back healthy, yes, they can be a legitimate contender. I don't think their defense is going to be as terrible as it was last year. I think their offense is going to be in the top 3, maybe top 2 offenses in football. So their offense is going to have to carry them. But if they stay healthy, Laura, this team can score points with anybody in the National Football League. Their defense just has to fall on a couple footballs and get some turnovers every now and then and just not give up the booty so much, and they will be right there. But let me talk about that Mike McCarthy speech, because every coach in the National Football League has stood in front of their team in training camp and said this. I'm not saying not every coach, maybe 28 out of the 32 teams. Hey, guys, it's really simple. It's win or go home. We have to win this year. And every start of every training camp, I go to bed at night thinking, man, I'm going to run through a wall. You know how long that lasts? About 3 days, and then you get so tired that you're delirious. So that speech reminded me of so many speeches I've heard before in training camp.
Listen, Boog's right about a lot there. I agree with his assessment of the Cowboys. I agree with hey, we're about to cut half of you guys, but we need all of you guys to win a championship speech. That happens at every training camp. There's no doubt about that. All of that is true. And I think that, in terms of, Laura, seeing like another side of Mike McCarthy and the expectations of this team, look, that is Mike McCarthy. And the expectations are that, look, they need to be a championship team. They fired a coach that would bring them to the postseason, but wasn't winning at all. And Mike McCarthy has won it all. So he's there. Not because they have to win it this season, because I don't think they will, and I don't think they'll be close. But I think in the next few years, if they're not really close and the expectations aren't that they're going to get it done, then we probably are talking about a new head coach.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.